Now available on Tata Sky channel number 526.
Hello and welcome to the Property News here on Magic Bricks, now India's first property channel. I'm Krishna Kumar. Let's take a look at the top stories that we're tracking. Housing for All finds a place in BMC's proposed draft development rules. Developers will get OC only after transferring 20% of their plot to the BMC. The civic body will build affordable homes on these plots. That's a Magic Bricks Now exclusive. At least 30 Indian and foreign companies are vying to design and build Mumbai's International Finance Centre. We tell you who's in the race in another Magic Bricks Now exclusive. Cheer for the Gurgaon property market. Palwal-Manasar Expressway finally opens for public. The new stretch is expected to improve connectivity and reduce traffic congestion in Gurgaon. All right, straight to the top story. Then Mumbai civic body BMC is making provisions for affordable housing across the city. In the new draft development control rules, the BMC mandates that the developer has to surrender 20% of the plot to the civic body, and that too free of cost. My colleague Disha Shah is standing by live with some exclusive details on that front. Disha, tell us, what are these new development rules all about?
That's right, there could be supply of smaller homes in the city of Mumbai, as Mumbai civic body BMC has proposed in its new draft of development control regulations, or DCR, has proposed that for construction of affordable houses in the city of Mumbai, developers will have to hand over minimum of 20% of the plot area to the BMC, and that too free of cost. And the FSI of the plot that will be handed over to the BMC shall be allowed to be utilized on that remaining plot, which also means that if this gets implemented on ground, smaller homes will be developed on that 20% of the project that is developed by each and every developer. Moreover, the rules also proposes that this plot has to be surrendered to BMC within the given time frame, which is 6 months after getting the approvals, after getting the necessary approvals. And if any developer fails to comply these rules, then BMC won't give any occupation certificate or OC to the developer. And lastly, the draft also mentions that only affordable houses will be built on that 20% of the plot, and it won't be used for any other development purposes. So of course, this is just the proposal proposed by BMC. Of course, this will take some time to get implemented on ground, but an important thing to note here is that if this gets implemented on ground, we could expect more supply of smaller homes in the city of Mumbai.
All right, Disha, thank you so much for that big story update. Moving on, call it the Devnar effect. All new buildings coming up in Mumbai will need a proper waste disposal system and fire safety plan in place to get approvals. These are also part of the proposals in BMC's draft development control rules. My colleague Disha Shah gets us some exclusive details in this report. Take a look.
The new set of development control regulations, or DCR, by BMC focuses on cleaner and greener Mumbai, where the proposal focuses on having a proper waste disposal system in all the new projects in the city of Mumbai. For instance, developer will have to provide 2 separate colored bins to collect wet and dry waste in the new buildings. In fact, developer will also have to allocate a dedicated space for collecting waste before transferring waste for recycling or disposal purposes. Moreover, BMC has also made it mandatory for rainwater harvesting in all the upcoming new projects in the city of Mumbai, be it development or even redevelopment of plots for that matter. And of course, this comes as a clause, as developers have to ensure that all these provisions are come under the builder-buyer contract. Secondly, BMC is also getting tough with building permissions, as the draft clearly states that no permissions will be given to developers if they fail to provide any enough water supply to the housing society in the new projects. However, all these permissions will be given at the chief executive engineer level, and more than 80% of the project approvals will be given by the chief executive engineer at BMC, and only special permissions with regards to non-objection certificates or NOCs will be given at the commissioner level. So of course, like I said before, these are just provisions and these are just proposals proposed by BMC. Of course, this will take some time to get implemented on ground.
So, what kind of an impact will these rules have on the real estate sector? Will we see more affordable homes coming in? Will the garbage crisis finally be resolved? To understand that and to answer those questions, joining us live on the phone line is Ravi Ahuja, Managing Director, Office Agency and Investment Sales India at Cushman & Wakefield. Ravi, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here in the Property News and Magic Bricks. Now, tell us, garbage disposal, rainwater harvesting, compliance will become difficult. Will it also be expensive?
Sure, it won't only be expensive, but I also feel the time this may take will itself be, adding up to the entire cost of these propositions. So the garbage disposal case, for example, we know that the BMC has given a time frame, which hopefully, if it is met, will be great. But I think there is all probability of extension, because so many metric tons of garbage to be managed and to be vacated into a new dump will not only take a year and a half or two, but can take much more time. All this would mean cost overruns. All this would mean that till such time there is clarity on, and therefore the development restrictions till such time would mean artificial scarcity of supply of new residential development, which may mean that the prices which had started to correct may halt due to this artificial supply, scarcity. So overall, I think it's good that there is clarity being sought, and these compliance issues are being given focus. Better late than never, as they say. But all this would mean cost overruns. All this would mean also artificial scarcity till the development takes place. And therefore the pricing impact.
We also have Rohit Poddar, Managing Director of Poddar Developers, joining us. Ravi, Rohit, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us. Tell us, is this practically possible, to carve out 20% of a plot and hand it over to the BMC first up?
Thank you for having me on the panel. I think it's going to be very difficult, especially for small plots of land. Talking about having additional FSI as a compensation for the same. But I don't know how practically feasible it's going to be for redevelopment projects, anything with the DC rule of 33 onwards, for slum projects as well. There are several parts of the city which have a height restriction, for example, because of the flight path, where the current FSI can't even be used. So I don't understand the practical implications of this, how it'll actually be executed from a working perspective level.
Rohit, the OC will be contingent on this. Can we then expect the supply of affordable homes in the city, and more importantly, what will happen to prices because of this?
Well, there has to be a policy to create affordable housing in the city, because you can't have only greenfield projects in the suburbs or the MMR area as a generator for affordable housing. So I agree in principle that something needs to be done for the same. However, I think a policy of 20% of the ground area is going to be next to impossible to execute, and you'll have many stalled projects as a consequence of this, or many unviable redevelopments, including slum projects. So I don't know. I don't know what the solution actually is. I know that it's important to have a certain amount of housing that should be built for budget homes, but I'm not sure that this is the right solution.
Rohit, also executive engineers have been empowered to approve projects. Do you think the draft DCR then strikes a balance between social goals, sustainability, and at the same time promotes the ease of doing business?
I think that this government is very, very keen on cutting red tape and to basically, I think they understand what pain the developers are actually going through. So I think that empowering the correct level of engineer to approve projects is very important, because it will obviously save time. Speed to market will increase, and of course, the holding cost of developers will basically come down, which will of course in effect make houses more affordable. So I think that the spirit of the DC rule is certainly there. There are of course tweaks that we all would like to make to the DC rules, and currently they are in the suggestion objection time frame. And various industry bodies like PIATA or NAREDCO or MCHI are basically giving their representation on the same to them. And I believe that I know for a fact that the municipal commissioner is very open to suggestions that are in the right spirit. They also want to make a DC rule that's practically executable, from a ground level position. So I think you'll see some changes, of course, with the DC rules over the next month or so, or before that's finalized.
All right, Rohit, hold on, because Ravi Ahuja is still with us. Ravi, I just wanted to ask you once before we wrap this up. 20% of the plot being handed over to the BMC. The OC is contingent upon it. Do you think it's practically possible? And tell us, do you think this will impact prices?
So, a couple of points on the 20%, couple of aspects that get impacted is clearly the land coverage. In Mumbai, in a city like Mumbai, for example, where the land sizes are not as large as compared to some of the other tier 2 and 3 cities of, let's say, Pune, Hyderabad, etc., I think land sizes are small. So to call out 20% and hand over would mean that the floor coverage in many cases may get impacted, let alone the FSI. So I think physically it may cause some challenge for the lower size of plots which have to call out 20% for handover. So it may be wise and it may be prudent to set a stipulation that for sizes of plots which are higher than, let's say, X size, where there are schemes and layouts, 20% can be cut off. Second, on the impact on FSI and the infrastructure itself, one has to look at building the necessary civic infrastructure of the 80% plot and linking occupation certificate to that. While the intention is good, but if the developer fails to eventually meet his commitment, the customer or the consumer will eventually get impacted. So why impact him? So one has to look into these aspects.
All right, Ravi Ahuja and Rohit Poddar, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on Property News and Magic Picture, on explaining and putting that into perspective on what this means for affordable housing in the city. Moving on. At least 30 Indian and foreign companies are vying to design and build Mumbai's International Finance Centre. In fact, as we speak, work is moving fast on what is the Maharashtra Chief Minister's pet project. A hand-picked, high-profile task force will meet on Thursday to chart the course for the IFSC. This task force includes the Minister of State for Finance, Jayant Sinha, MP Poonam Mahajan, Chanda Kochar, Maharashtra Chief Secretary Swadhin Kshatriya, MMRDA Chairman UPS Madan, and actor Amitabh Bachchan as well. Meanwhile, Ruchi Deshpande got us some exclusive details on who is bidding to build the IFSC. Take a look.
We told you earlier that the pre-bid meeting for the BKC International Finance Services Center in Mumbai was to take place on the 31st of March. And now we get you some of the possible companies that are interested in going ahead and designing the layout for the International Finance Services Center. That is all set to come up in Bandra Kurla complex in Mumbai. Well, amongst the known names, we have architectural firms like Hafiz Contractor. We also have Tata Consulting Engineers as well as Edifice Consultants. In terms of international names, we have the IBI Group from Canada, we have Perkins Eastman from USA, and we have Techfin Consultants from Singapore. Now, what we also learned from the MMRDA is that they've asked for BKC to be notified as a finance SEZ or a special economic zone. They will also have a layout for the master plan within a period of 6 months, and more details about this will be done in the meeting on 7th of April, where the special task force set up by Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis will divulge more details as to what will take place in the BKC IFSC going forward.
All right, that's as far as IFSC is concerned, but Ruchi, don't go anywhere because she is going to get us more on the next story as well. The Maharashtra government has come down hard on the misuse of TDR, citing a fraud case in Kalyan Dombivli. The Chief Minister has announced that any illegal structure with unregistered TDR will not be regularized anymore. We also tell you what you as a customer need to be aware of, and to tell that, Ruchi, tell us more.
citing an example of misuse of TDR in the Kalyan Dombivli area, Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis mentioned in one of the Legislative Assembly sessions yesterday that the Maharashtra government will not regularize or legalize any of these structures with illegal TDR. Now, TDR or transfer of development rights is essentially the tool used for obtaining incentive FSI between the developers in case the developer does not want to buy the FSI directly from the state government. In addition to mentioning this, Devendra Fadnavis also mentioned that this land will be leveled, which means the excess TDR given to the developer will be taken off or demolished. The land will be returned to the original owner, and the developer indulging in the misuse of TDR will be penalized for the same. Now, what does this mean for you as a consumer, and how can you as a buyer be well aware that your building is not constructed with TDR that is not registered? Well, the civic body or the municipal corporation does not grant a CC or a commencement certificate unless the developer has registered this TDR with the civic body. So what you need to do is ask your developer for a CC or a commencement certificate, and in case the builder does not give it to you, you need to go to the civic body or the municipal corporation and obtain it from them. This is how you as a home buyer can safeguard your rights.
Days after the Kolkata flyover tragedy, the Kolkata police have arrested another senior officer of IVRCL. The arrested official in question was monitoring the project and has been booked under Section 302 and 120B of the IPC. This is the 9th arrest in the case so far. Magic Bricks now will continue to keep you updated with the latest developments as they happen. In the national capital, big boost to the property market over there. After 6-year delay, the Palwal-Manesar Expressway stretch opened to the public. The 53-kilometer long expressway spanning Sonipat, Chhajjar, Gurgaon, Mewat and Palwal districts was inaugurated by Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari and Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar. The expressway, which is now open to public, will provide a high-speed link to northern Haryana and will interconnect Gurgaon, Faridabad and Palwal, and it will also decongest the National Capital Territory of Delhi. The Palwal-Manesar Expressway will decongest Delhi and ensure better connectivity, and better connectivity means one thing to the property market: growth. In fact, Deepa Rana, who has been tracking NCR, got us a report on what other infrastructure developments are expected in the Gurgaon market soon. Take a look.
Gurgaon clearly has two aspects going for its favor. One, the infrastructure projects, which is already good and is more can be expected. Secondly, the city has started tapping various districts of Haryana, paving way for cheaper housing. Now coming to the infrastructure first, Gurgaon is going to benefit from the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor and the Dwarka Expressway, which is going to come up in the coming 2 years. Coming to the other projects which the Huda administration is planning, one of them is the Greater Southern Peripheral Road. Now this road is going to be built from the Mehroli to Sona Road to Manesar via Sona and decongest traffic on Mehroli, Sona and Manesar Road. Coming to the residential projects, there are about 11 developers who have tied up and are going to build residential projects in and around Gurgaon and Sona Road. So Sona Road and the NH8 market sectors beyond that are the sectors which are coming up for the residential market. Coming to the IT hub, there's going to be an IT hub which is going to be developed in coming 3 years. And also coming to the other projects which we can look forward in Gurgaon are projects like the infrastructure projects which are coming up in terms of bridges and the expressways which are going to decongest traffic and help reduce the overload of traffic which comes up in Gurgaon. Other things that we can look forward to in Gurgaon includes the smart cities. Two of the major smart cities of Haryana, Karnal and Faridabad have been selected as the smart cities, and clearly Gurgaon has a lot going for it.
And while we are talking about Gurgaon, let's take a look at how the property market over there has been faring, and we have Suyesha Sawant standing by with those details. Suyesha, tell us, how exactly is Gurgaon faring?
Like Noida, Gurgaon has emerged as a self-sustaining city. Factors such as the availability of huge land parcels, proximity to the international airport in Delhi, favorable tax policies and faster implementation of infrastructure projects have contributed to Gurgaon's growth. It's a preferred choice for MNCs owing to majority Grade A offices set up here. This has led to an increase in the demand for housing, which resulted in residential prices in Gurgaon having grown at 13% between 2010 to 2012, which made Gurgaon far more expensive in comparison to Noida. However, prices have muted since 2013 due to overall slowness in the economy, its high prices, and also due to certain lags on the part of the developers in terms of delays. The prices in Gurgaon run in the range of 4,200 to 24,000 rupees per square foot, that being the highest in the NCR. As per the Magic Bricks Prop Index, prices have mostly remained stagnant. 59% localities saw the average price decrease by 3.4%, but the balance 41% localities saw prices increase. In Golf Course Extension Road, prices have mostly remained constant and range between 6,972 to 9,780 rupees per square foot. DLF City Phase 5 has dropped 0.5% since the last quarter, and the average price here is 12,481 rupees per square foot. Talking about Cyber City, the prices here range between 10,655 to 13,677 rupees per square foot.
Thank you, Suyesh, for bringing us that wrap-up of Gurgaon's property market. Now, it's not just Gurgaon. A lot of infrastructure projects are expected to hit the Noida property market as well. And we have Deepa getting us this ground report on the Noida market. Take a look.
Noida is fast developing as an attractive destination for businesses and for people. The city has an urban landscape, modern infrastructure, affordable homes and metro connectivity. The city will have some of the big infra projects which are going to be delivered by end of this year. This includes the FNG Expressway. Now, the Faridabad-Ghaziabad-Noida Expressway will help commuters travel between these cities without having to enter Delhi. Another important infra project in the pipeline is 6 kilometers elevated road. This road is going to connect various sectors of Noida to the city center in Noida. The metro lines, two of the important metro lines, pink and magenta lines, are going to be open soon by end of this year. These two lines will include the one from Botanical Garden to Kalindi Kunj. Commuters will be able to travel from Noida to Gurgaon without changing their metro at Rajiv Chowk, and another one which will connect Noida and Noida Extension. The city will soon see its first tram service, which is going to be open soon by end of this year, and a bus terminal at Sector 144 at ISBT.
All right, then, and that note, let's also take a look at how the property market in Noida is faring at this point in time. And we do have Suyesha Sawant again with those details. Suyesha, take it away.
Noida saw healthy price appreciation during 2011 and 2013 with prominent demand from mid to premium segments. However, post-2013, issues related to Okhla Bird Sanctuary and the Noida Development Authority's reprimand to certain developers over the flouting of guidelines have collectively dampened home buyer sentiment. Noida had 77% localities with an average price decrease of 4.1%, leading to a net decline of 2.2% in prices until the last quarter of 2015 as per the Magic Bricks Prop Index. Residential prices here are in the range of 3,900 to 5,900 rupees per square foot. Sector 45, which is quite in demand from buyers, ranges between 5,112 to 7,238 rupees per square foot. It has seen a drop of 0.2% since the last quarter. Sector 25 saw a massive drop of 9% since the last quarter, and the average price here is 7,200 rupees per square foot. Sector 150, on the contrary, has seen an increase of 1% since the last quarter. The prices here range between 3,918 to 5,060 rupees per square foot.
And with that, we've completely run out of time here on this edition of the Property News. Don't go anywhere. Stay with Magic Bricks now for more news and updates. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/magicbricksnow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magic Bricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/magicbricksnow.